What's good, sports family? We are back with another podcast video today. This one's a special one. This one, we're going to be doing it with one of my good friends from college, Tevis Robinson. He is a professional basketball player overseas. We're going to talk about not only his journey from playing ball, but what is he doing now? So let's get started. All right, man. We are here with Tevis Robinson. As I told you guys before in the video, we're going to be talking about, his story and how he got into playing basketball. So, yeah, man. So, it's been a long time since we've seen each other since what, back in 2016, right?
Yep, since Johnson and Wells 2016, man, down in
Yeah.
Miami. He's been to
Before we jump into Johnson and Wales, we'll talk about his childhood. So tell the people like where you grew up and what was, your life was as a kid.
Yeah, so I grew up in Ypsilanti, Michigan, which is maybe like an hour outside of Detroit, like 15 minutes from Ann Arbor University of Michigan. Um, Always went to school in Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor. Like if you guys are familiar with the University of Michigan, just with the football and basketball program and everything, just being a college campus, just always have been around sports. I grew up playing basketball, football, baseball, soccer. My mom kept me pretty active. I feel like I was a pretty active kid. And I was always playing basketball, football, baseball up until I got to high school. And then after my freshman year, I just fully pursued in on basketball. My family has played, like my dad, my uncles, have some cousins, younger and older, that played. So it's just, and a lot of my friends when I grew up always played it as well. So I just really like the community type of thing. The like where everybody comes out to come watch the game. I like to be able to play it, man. It gives you that different type of feeling, that motivation. It can clear your mind, and it's taken me so many places, and it's kept me out of a lot of trouble as well. So I'm always thankful to be around the game of basketball for sure.
So since like what made you want to focus on basketball? Like what was it high school that you got you just be like, all right, basketball only, no football, no baseball. What made you get into basketball? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew that basketball would be my main sport. The other sports I was always just playing just out of just my friends and just my friends being able to play.
Mhm.
I felt like football was cool, but I wanted to kind of be on the defensive side and like let my family tell it. I really wasn't the most physical type of person, like, being afraid of contact or anything. So, basketball and also football, like, I love watching football and, like,
Mhm.
I'm very into like professional football and college football, but I don't know. Just when I'm out there myself, it's just like it's just so cold, bro. Like I don't, I don't know. Like just with it being an outdoor sport, I mean, maybe like if you could play it indoors, like I know in the NFL, like they play in a lot of domes and things, and it's warm. But I don't know. Like I just remember being at practice outside. Like it didn't matter if it was raining or if it was snowing. Like we were out there, and I'm like, man, I just hate it. With basketball, you're always inside. For the
Yeah.
most part, it is in a heated gym or like an AC over the summertime, just depending on where you are. Um, like outside of like when you're like a little kid, you're playing outside in the snow. I mean, that's really it. Like that does build some character. But I mean, I feel like just for the most part, basketball just gave me that advantage of being inside. And I also just like the way I don't know, just the way that the game flowed. Like with football, it's a lot of stop and starting, and it's a lot of things you have to remember. Not saying in basketball, it's not the same, but like I know in football, like I remember my freshman year, my coach used to give us these plays. Like I was on the scout team, and we used to have to try to remember the other team's plays to get the defense ready. So they're like giving us all these calls. I'm like, I have no idea what this means. Like listening to the numbers and the colors, and I'm like, yeah, I have no idea. Like with basketball, you have to remember like certain sets of certain formations, but for the most part, as long as you have like your spacing and you have like your movement and everything, like you should be all right. So
I'm shocked that I mean you're from Michigan, not like you're from Florida, then I would get it. Like, all right, the cold a little bit too much, but like me personally, I can handle the cold. 20 degrees, I can go outside. I'm cool. I'm all right with it.
no, I mean I've always grown up like with it being like snow and everything, but
You're
yeah,
southern.
I always wanted to get that change of scenery, like which brought me down to Florida to be able to go to school just so I can stay away from the snow. So
Hmm. So Uh, what can I say? So who was your biggest influence growing up? Like, was your family, a coach, a mentor, a friend?
I had a lot of different influences. Like I know, like from my youngest age, like I said, I had a lot of uncles that played on my dad's side. They played football and basketball. Like I know my oldest uncle and my dad, they played college football. One played at Michigan Tech. My dad played at Bethune-Cookman for a bit. But on my mom's side, I had my uncle who he was playing high school basketball and he was really good. And I just remember going down to his games, just being, and as little kids, I'm not saying I was sitting there just like so analyzed by the game, like because a lot of times I was just running around like just with like other little kids that were there. But when I would really like dial in and like watch what was going on, like I remember seeing, I can't remember what team they were playing another team, but I remember the dude got a fast break and he dunked it. And I just remember seeing like the whole crowd, just like how their whole mood just changed. And I'm like, man, like like it just took it took the energy out, and I just really liked the way that like that made me feel. And then seeing like if somebody else like made like a shot or took a charge or got a steal, just seeing how the crowd was just so like amped. It was like, all right, yeah. And you don't really get that type of feeling like as a kid, like when you're playing around other kids, but when you're a kid watching like, high school sports or like being able to grow up and going to like Michigan basketball games or going to the Pistons.
Yeah,
See it, at the time when they were getting ready to win the championship and everything. And it was just crazy. Like I really liked the environment and it just made me feel like a different type of emotion that I really just wanted to always capture. So
that's dope. Now, how did your family like support you playing basketball in high school? I know we can talk about later on in college and in pro, but in high school and as you as a kid, how do they support you? Was it like your mom was there? Was your other family members were there to always drop you off or bring the trip?
yeah, for sure. Like I said, it definitely takes a village. My mom, my stepdad, my dad's side, like with my dad, my uncles, my grandparents on my mom's side, like everybody had a hand in what was going on. Like my mom was the biggest in just always making sure I was staying active in things. Like my mom was more academic type of things. Like she really didn't care too much about me playing the sport. Like to go on in college and stuff, but she just wanted me to be able to be active just to have those extracurricular activities, but also just knowing that it was, it was extra, you know what I mean? I needed to make sure I was taking care of my grades and everything first. My stepdad was very big on like giving me the work that I needed to do. Like he was more like because he grew up, he played football, he ran track, he played basketball too, but track and football were his main sports. So he was like super physical, super strong. So he used to always try to have me do like these uh random push-ups during timeouts of football games or if we were watching TV or something like that or just trying to work out. My mom always picked me up and took me to and from practice. I had uncles that used to always either take me to the gym to work out with like my younger cousins so that we can get better or some strength and conditioning work. My grandparents were very influential. Like I don't really remember them missing too many games. And that was really important to me too. Like I don't think I really noticed it at the time, but like it didn't really matter where I was at. I always had like either a family or like a family friend or somebody like that was at my game and just supporting me. And that's really like the biggest thing. Like I've definitely been like I mean we'll get to it later, but I've definitely been around the world and I've been out there by myself. So you really get like that feeling of just being out there by yourself versus like when you don't have anybody that you know that's in the crowd or just after the game or just checking on you. Then that's the real difference for sure.
So it seems like your family is just, it's awesome that your family's so family orientated. They're there for you no matter what. Now, since you had a lot of life lessons when you were in childhood, what helped you shape your competitive mindset? I know your family was always into sports. Was it their sports mindset competitiveness went to you and you're like, yeah, I'm the same way, or was it something else?
I really don't know to be honest. I've always just had that confidence that I was gonna be a good basketball player, but even when I wasn't a good basketball player, like I'm sure like a lot of my friends would be able to tell you when I was growing up, like I used to always think I was going to the NBA and like but my work ethic and like where I was at the time really didn't match up. Like I really wasn't like I was never the star player. I was never like a person that was getting rotation. Like I kind of just was like one of those bench warmer type of guys. But I don't know what it was. I just always knew that I was like the best basketball player and nobody could tell me anything because I'm like I'm just gonna work hard and I'm just gonna do what it takes. And um, I don't know. It's just all like I've just always had that motivational mindset. Maybe just people telling me that I wasn't gonna make the NBA or that like I wasn't good or like I just always think back on it like at random times because there was a lot of people that were like so much better than me. But I like if you ask me, I'm like no, like I'm better, and they're like that don't even make any sense. Like I score more than you, I'm bigger than you. I do. I'm like I don't care. Like I'm better than you, and even like if and it is a little bit of delusional as well because I could play one on one or like I could be against these guys and these guys would just kill me. But in my mind, I'm like yeah, I'm still better. Like you just had a good day. Like it's just because of my team or something like that. But I always knew that I was better. So I really don't know exactly what made me that way. I just have always had the confidence in it.
Yeah, I mean that's good though because there's a lot of times when people say to a guy, "Oh, you stink," and then a guy's like, "Maybe I do stink," but it's a good thing that you keep that in the back of your mind, like, "Nah, nah, these guys are trash. I'm gonna kick, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna kick them." But
it's actually funny too because like now I feel like I am a good basketball player, but I don't have the same confidence that I had when I was like 12 years old. You know what I mean? Like if I was the same player that I am now and I had the confidence of my 12-year-old self, like it would just be out the roof. Sometimes I do get like down on myself or just not thinking like I could play like up to the ability, but it just like my 12-year-old self was like he knew he was going to the NBA, but he did not have the skill. Like me now, like I'm a professional, but I'm just I'm just more like I understand, I'm like, hey, there's levels to this game, you know what I mean? But if I had the confidence of my 12-year-old self, I'm like, yo, like forget all these levels, bro. You're the best, you know what I mean? So it's always funny to think about.
so your height, like we're going to high school now. Your height, so like I know you're tall. You're like what 6'7" or something.
6'6".
Yeah. So when did you like how did your height grow from like middle school to high school, and when were you able to dunk though?
Yeah, so I think when I was in seventh or eighth grade, I might have been 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", one of those type of heights, and um, I really didn't think I was gonna be that much taller. Like I knew, like when you're growing up, you're going to the doctor, you're always asking, like, oh, like how tall are you gonna be? And I could be making this up, and my mom probably says that I am making it up, but I swear the doctor told me I was gonna be 6'9". So I'm like, okay, but they were like, oh, you're gonna have like a late growth spurt. So I'm like, all right, like whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm chilling like all middle school, but I'm like, yeah, like one of these days, like these guys don't even know. Like I'm gonna pull up and I'm gonna be 6'9" and I'm gonna have a 7 foot wingspan and I'm gonna be great. And it never like, but then it kind of to be one of those things where I wasn't patient with it and I was just kind of just waiting. And so I started like looking up like what I needed to do to make sure could get like as tall as I can. And I remember like people would talk about lifting weights would stunt your growth. So like we would be in middle school and high school, like with weightlifting classes and things, and I did not want to touch any weights. I'm like, I need, like, I'm gonna be 6'9", so like, I don't want to touch any weights until I get to this height, and that kind of set me back a little bit too because like I just was not coordinated and I was not strong at all. I was super skinny. I might have been, I don't know, 175 pounds, soaking wet. It was just like a little scrawnier kid. But then when I turned maybe my sophomore year, when I was 15 or 16. And then I think I ended up being 6 foot to like 6'2". And then like there was different like my friends or my teammates, they would start seeing me in the hallway. They like, hey, like Ted, like, did you get taller? I'm like, I don't think so. Like, you know what I mean? And I started to see like my pants I started growing out of my pants a little bit. So I think I went from 6'2", 6'3" to like 6'5", 6'6".
Okay.
And um yeah, all the way up until my senior year. And once I started feeling myself getting taller, that's when I started to try to like dunk. Like you don't like obviously you try to dunk a basketball, but it gets hard. But then I started realizing I can like touch the net. I could touch the net, that I could hold on to the rim, and then I was start trying to dunk. And then We used to have practice my JV year at a middle school in like the smaller gym, and that rim was probably like 9'8" instead of 10 foot. So I started dunking on that, and that kind of gave me my confidence. And then going in from my sophomore year into my junior year, I started dunking more like at a consistent rate.
So how did you like practice of you dunking? Like for me, when I was, I think like ninth, 10th grade, when I did, I would run back and forth and try and touch the rim. And I did box jumps a lot.
Yeah.
What did you do though?
Um, so I used to go to the YMCA or I go to like a rec center and I would go into the fitness center and I would find a medicine ball that would be really heavy. And then I would just try to jump as high as I can and try to dunk that. And then after I would put the ball down and then I grab a regular basketball and then the ball just felt so light that I could get up higher. And then after that, once I started seeing how high I could jump, then I started to get the coordination of like my steps if it needed to be like a left right trying to dunk or a right left going off of 2 feet, or if I want to come off the left side. I was just trying all these different ways. And then finally, like my first like good dunk was off of 2 feet. But my first in-game dunk was off of one, just off of like it was like I was coming off the right side, going down the middle. Then it's like a left right, and I'm left-handed, so I'm like going left right, and then I'm just jumping, and then I'm just trying to throw it inside the rim like that. So
How was it when you first had that dunk in a game where you were like hype or you're like, oh, all right, you know?
man, it's funny because I really don't remember it. Like I remember like it was my junior year of high school. It was the first game of the season
Uh-huh.
and I didn't get in until the fourth quarter. Like I said, I was not a good basketball player or I wasn't in the rotation or anything. I got in the fourth quarter and I made a couple plays, but then I remember it might have been like a minute left or something like that. Somebody tried to shoot a three and I blocked it. And I had got it on a fast break, and I remember I dunked it, but I kind of was like, all right, yeah, like in my mind. But then when I went back and I watched the highlight, like I dunked it, and then I looked at the crowd, I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Like I'm hyped, and my teammates are all hyped, and like they're jumping up and down, and like I'm giving everybody high fives and everything. But it was just like it's funny because in my mind, like I don't remember doing any of that. And a lot of times when I am like in a game and I'm dunking the ball, I don't really remember it too much. But I know for a fact I don't ever get as hype anymore because it's kind of like normal. But like my first dunk, it was hype. And I remember the news was there and they got a photo of it and it's me dunking it and like
Oh,
in the air. So it was super sweet. And I remember just going to the computer lab and printing it off and I was giving it to my teacher, showing them like, hey, look, like this is
that's
it.
lit.
You know what I mean? They put it on the cover for the sports page and it was nice. It was a good feeling for sure.
That's nice, man. So which high school did you go to?
Yeah.
And
So I went to sorry, my bad. I cut
that's
you off.
all good. Is which high school did you go to and how did basketball journey develop from there on?
Yeah, so I went to Ann Arbor Pioneer High School. If you guys know where the University of Michigan is, it's literally right across the street from there.
Oh wow.
So there's a lot of ties with like football and basketball that go back and forth. Like Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh, they went to Pioneer. We have a lot of different athletes and things that would go around, but um, yeah, I just knew that once I was going there, like my mom went to Pioneer High School as well. So I always knew that I was going there. My dad, he went to Ypsilanti High School, which is the hometown where I'm from. So, but I felt like I was going to be going to Ypsi for a minute because my dad used to talk about it. And Ypsilanti at the time was like a pretty good powerhouse school where like they were very defensive minded, very tough. And that's like what my dad wanted me to get into. But my mom was like, no, because again, she wanted me to play sports, but she was more about academics. And she's like, you're going to go to Pioneer because this is where I went. And then you're going to be able to, get your education. You're going to go to college, you get a job. I'm like, okay. Like, so that's where I ended up going. Um, well, my coach at the time there, Coach Rex Stanzak, he had a good program. In 2009, they had a really good basketball team or was it 2000? It was either 2007 or 2009. I can't remember, but when I was in middle school and I was going into high school, and that's like the foundation that he was laying the foundation on. And he had, some JV coaches and freshman coaches that really, their job wasn't to just show us like what it took to be on varsity, but like what it meant to like be a good teammate. My freshman coach, Coach Fred Webster, he was very big on like staying together as a team and not just things on the court, but doing things off the court. We had a lot of team bonding, like team dinners, making sure everybody was okay because like it does take like a mental type of thing. Like basketball isn't the only thing that you're doing. Like you're in high school, it's a pretty big transition from middle school to high school. It's a lot of different people that are in there, people that are older than you. They're growing ups, they're driving, everybody's doing like different things, and like it gets pretty tough sometimes. So like we really just learned like how to check in with each other, what it really took to like really be a family, and um, that's what really like you build off of that going from freshman year into JV year, and then as you're prepping, and then you're getting ready to try to make varsity for the next 2 years, and then Coach Rex would just take it over and give you more of the X's and O's, and just making sure that you're have your IQ together, like what you're supposed to do in transition versus bringing it out, getting into the offense, defensive sets, trying to read what the other people are doing, getting the scouts, and yeah, it's a pretty big jump. But I mean, once you like if you go like in the right steps and you're asking all the questions and you're making sure you're following directions and paying attention, it gets I would say it's pretty beneficial.
Now, it sounds like your coach, was he the one that had a major impact on you during high school?
Yeah, I would say my freshman year, my freshman coach, Coach Webster, he definitely had the biggest impact on me just because it wasn't just about basketball. Like he had so much going on. Like we did work hard and everything, but like just doing things outside of the sport, like being able to give back to like, we would do like different clothing drives at the Salvation Army or just going down to different what's this called? Like different, like there was something called blight busters where we would like help salvage homes and like help clean up and like homes that may have like burned down or were like needed to get renovated and just being able to give back. You would just see like in the community, and we would meet different people that may have played basketball growing up, and then like maybe they took like the wrong step, and like them just being able to say like, hey, like make sure you're staying on the right path, or he would bring in other people that were really successful that ended up playing college basketball and maybe played professional for a bit and then got into like the real world and got like real jobs and everything. So like you really were able to see, and that impacted me a lot. Just seeing like how basketball could really shape like my life, and even though I feel like basketball is centered, like my life is centered around basketball, but at the same time, like I knew that there would be different avenues and things that I can make outside of that. He really showed me a lot of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like not a lot of coaches really do that. I feel like your coach seems like he's old school. This is before social media too. So I feel like a lot of the coaches, like what I've witnessed and what I've seen, I feel like a lot of coaches just for the extra money, or it's just, hey, maybe I'll get a job somewhere higher up if I do really well coaching. But it seems like your coach really cares, which that's what we need, and I think no matter where you're from, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Like there was actually a guy like who played in the NBA, David West. He just talked about this, or he made a video the other day, and he was just talking about like when they were growing up, all the coaches that were doing it, like they really weren't making a lot of money. Not saying that coaches now in high school make a lot of money, but a lot of like the travel coaches, they really were just volunteering their time because they really cared. Like now you see players that just get picked up or like just because they made a team, just because the coach is thinking like, okay, well, I can make some money off this kid. I can get like a sneaker deal or I can get some type of sponsorship and make some money like that. So not saying that they don't care, they're just not as developed, and they don't really have the same type of structure or guidance for the players.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a totally different world. That's time changes. Just got to see who's really gonna be that coach for you and who isn't. Now, uh, what was a favorite memory of you during high school ball? Like, was there a moment that, the dunking part, was that your favorite memory? Was it a game winner? Was it a block? Was it you about, go one-on-one with your favorite player that you kind of looked up to that were much older?
Yeah, I mean, like going off the top of my head, I think that dunk my junior year was really good. It was like that was a good memory. Um, just like a quick background with that, like I was a junior and like my sophomore year of high school, I really didn't play that much at the end of the season. And I was kind of fighting for my spot on varsity. So when we were trying out my junior year, like my coach was telling me he was going to have me on JV and go back and forth just so I could get my experience and my reps because he felt like I was good, but he felt like I didn't have like enough playing time to like or like enough minutes to be able to go. But I mean, he said that I showed him like that first game. Like I remember I was setting screens, I was rolling to the basket, getting like I made a right hand layup because like I'm left handed. I was only using my left. I made a right hand layup, and then when I got the dunk, that kind of just solidified me. I never went back down to JV. Like I would go practice. Like I practiced with them, and then I had one scrimmage with them. But then once it was the first game, I started up on varsity, but then I didn't play. I'm like, man, like he's gonna send me down to JV this next game. Like man, like it sucks, but like I just need to make sure I'm like when my time is called, like I'm gonna go. And then I got to go in that fourth quarter, and just like in that time that I played, like he it just showed him that I would stay up. And then he kept me on varsity that entire year. And then my senior year, I started to be more of a rotation player. A lot of memories with that team. I know we won 8 straight games. I remember we beat Huron, which was our rival school, crosstown rival. We beat them at our house, and that was the only time I really had like a high scoring game. I had 20 points, and I remember my cousin. She was on the women's team, but she was on the other side, and like having everybody go out and seeing that. Um, Also, we beat Ypsilanti our first time. We're in the same division, but just different, or the same conference but different divisions. So we were top at each side, and I remember we beat them. And my little stepbrother, he went to Ipsy, and he's in the crowd, and everybody's going for Ipsy. But he's like, no, I forget. Like he's like, that's my brother right there. So I just remember. Like I'll be making these plays and I'll look over and he'd be all hype and I'm like, yeah, like that gave me like that was a good memory as well. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in high school. Yeah, that was about it. I want to say those are probably my top two memories. Just the first dunk, and then having my brother like playing against my brother's team, or my brother's school, and then beating them and just seeing him in the crowd. That was really nice.
That's awesome, man. Now the challenges part. So I'm guessing junior varsity was the one that had that challenge in high school that kind of pushed you back, right? Was there any other challenges besides that kind of hold you back a little bit, but you had to like fight through adversity?
Yeah, so my sophomore year, I had donated some bone marrow to my sister. She had sickle cell anemia, and so I was donating bone marrow, and that had me miss out on I think 4 games or something like that. Just trying to recover from that, and then it was funny. I had ended up getting into a fight with one of my teammates, and then I had got suspended from school, and then I had missed some other games, so I was really out of the rotation. So that was the biggest challenge for sure
Wow.
because like I'm supposed to be like focused on basketball and getting back healthy to get back on the season, but then like I'm just getting into it with my teammates and for no reason at all. Like and it's funny because like I'm actually really good friends with them now. Like that's like I consider him like one of my brothers, but it was just like at the time we just butted heads and like it's stupid to think about, but it's just like fighting for no reason. We're on the same team. Like there was nothing like it was just stupid. So I had to deal with that, and like I went from being like a guy like I was coming off the bench. I don't know how many minutes I played, but I played some decent minutes. But then going into like the second half of the season, like I might have played I don't know like a couple minutes, or like I might have not played at all, and it was tough honestly. And but like I said, I always had the confidence that I'm like, all right, like I'm just gonna keep getting better. I'm gonna keep getting into the gym and just trying to focus on what I can control. And like I never went to the coach and asked him like why I wasn't playing or anything like that. And I'm just like, like my coach, he's gonna like put in whoever he feels like is ready. And if he feels like I'm not ready, then that means I need to get ready to go. Like it's not up to me to just go up to him and be like, I need to be playing. You know what I mean? Because there's 10 to 15 guys that all feel like they want to be playing and get into the rotation. There's only 5 spots on the court. So I just need to be able to be good enough to show my coach that I can want to be able to get into the game. He can trust me and I can make the right plays. So that's the biggest thing.
That's honestly, I gotta say, like, uh, just by the stuff you went through, like, it really is impressive that just by you trying to help your sister, just by, you realizing that, hey, I shouldn't be fighting with my teammates. It's just you keep on pushing, you not trying to ask your coach, hey, what about me? I know I didn't do well yesterday, but can I play today? that shows that you're a true professional. And this is where you're at now, because all the stuff you went through when you were younger is awesome, because not a lot of players go through that type of stuff. Either they're too cocky and it gets to their head and then they're out of league or whatever. But that's awesome that not only, you learning from it, but like your family taught you really, really good, morals and values and how to, come in and out, no matter if it's in classroom or out on the basketball court. Is awesome, man.
Thank
Um,
you.
Welcome, man. Now, one more thing of high school, I'm gonna say is that did you play with any like college or professional players on your team? And if you haven't, or if you have you played anyone against that played college or professional?
Yeah, so on my team specifically in high school, there was Jabril Hussein, who I played on his same team since I was in eighth grade. We went to the same middle school and high school. Um, when we were growing up, he was a really good shooter. He's a little bit shorter than me, like 6'4", but he's a really good shooter. We ended up going to the same college at Kalamazoo Valley for 2 years, which is a junior college, and then he transferred to Albion College after that. And I think that's the only person. Or we had some other ones that were available to play. All of them didn't take the advantage, or like some other things didn't work out. Like they might have had like some offers to play like at like a D3 or at like a community college. One of my teammates, he did play soccer at a D3 at Kalamazoo College, Kyle Kirchin. Um, I think that's it on my team. I want to say there were some guys ahead of me though, like my sophomore year, those guys on varsity, like James Kelly, he played 2 years at Owens Community College, and he played at University of Miami in Florida, and then he finished at Marshall, played in the G League for some time, and played professional all over. Anthony Hugan, Darian Hill, Jeremiah Strode, Aaron Schoenfeld, those guys all played college. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that was ahead. Yeah, I think that's everybody that was like within my circle. Now, people that I went against though, like Ypsilanti High School for sure had a lot of college and professional guys. Like you had Corey Allen who played at Detroit Mercy, then he finished at Georgia State. I think he was playing in Germany for a bit. He might be in Croatia now. Jalen Johnson, he played at the University of Louisville for 4 years. Played in the G League for a bit. He's been over in Asia. I think he was in Taiwan last year. He's in Korea now. Levante Davis. He played. It's funny that I remember all this stuff. He played at Northwood University. Then he finished at Indiana Tech. Um, he did some stints over in China. Did some playing. He really got into coaching. He's now the head coach at Lane Community College. I think that's out west. But before that, he was like a grad assistant at Iowa State and Penn State. Um, Trying to think who else we played against. Reese Dills from Saline High School. He played at Ohio Dominican University for 4 years. He was a really good player. I know he was a 4 year varsity player. There was a guy really gave me the most fits was Jackson Lamb, and he was a 6'9" forward out of Bedford, Michigan, or Temperance, Michigan. He went to Bedford High School, and he was probably the toughest player I've ever played against. But he was going to Michigan to play baseball, and he was a really good baseball player. And I remember like we would watch his highlights, or you would be in the game, and like we would like the chants in the crowd was always like stick to baseball. But like I'm not gonna lie, I felt like he was much better at basketball than baseball. It was like he was really good at baseball. So basketball is kind of just like what he wanted to do just because he was so good and so tall. But I felt like he could have like played basketball at a high level if he wanted to. Um, but yeah, so that's definitely the toughest player that I played against, who played. And then travel basketball, I played with Jamie Pearson my sophomore year of high school. He played for Oakland Community College, and he went to Wayne State in Nebraska, which is a D2 school. I'm trying to think. And then my junior year, my AAU team had a lot of college and pros. You had Nick Daniels, that was a 4 year player at Oakland, which is a D1 in Michigan. You had Paris Bass, who might be the most successful, I want to say. He played at Birmingham Seaholm High School, and then he played at U of D. Detroit Mercy, and then he ended up going pro early. He was playing in the G League for a bit. He's played all over, like he's pretty well known, like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. He's out in Asia, or he was out in Asia doing this thing. I think he's in the Middle East right now playing. He's a very high level. He played in the NBA for a bit too. I got some of those 10-day stints like with the Suns, and he was with the Lakers, G League, and Wisconsin or Milwaukee's team and everything.
Okay.
Um, Devin Stewart, I think he played at Adrian College, I want to say. I played with him. Trying to think if there's anybody else. Damn. Oh, there was Rich. He played at Saginaw Valley. Eric Coville. I think he played at Kellogg, and then he ended up at Siena Heights or Adrian College, one of those two. So there's been a lot of guys that I've played
Wow.
with.
I was like, oh.
I guess it's like I said, it's funny that I can just remember all these things, but I feel like there's some other people that I'm missing for sure. But there's some guys that are younger that have been around, but yeah, those are all I could think of right now.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the college, world now. So I saw the fact that you didn't go straight to Johnson Wales. You went to the community college, like you said earlier. What made your decision to go to the community college instead of going to, say, a D3, D2, D1 school?
Yeah. So coming out of high school or going like when I was coming out of high school, so I had a lot of D3 and Division Division 3 doesn't really give too many scholarships or anything. So there were like some good schools that recruited me. Like the biggest one I remember was Lake Forest College out of Illinois. I thought that's where I was really gonna end up going. But just with the financial aid and everything, I really didn't have like the finances to be able to afford it. So uh probably like going towards the end of my senior year, I started to get more junior college, community college coaches that would be at my games, and then they would actually come up and talk to me, and just explain like what they have going on. You come out for 2 years, and they had like a different type of approach, like the Division 3 schools, like they would like I want to say they would like for their main speech is just like, yeah, we're going to develop you here. Like you might not play a lot your first year, but by the time it's your senior year, like it's gonna be your team. You're gonna be able to do all these different things. I'm like, okay, like sounds good, but the finances just did not make too much sense. And I know that I wanted to play basketball, but at the same time, just having that financial debt just didn't make sense. So once I seen the community college route and like the price difference was so much cheaper and they can give more scholarships, just depending if you go to a D1 or a D2 junior college or community college. And I want to say I had three schools. So, like I said, I had four schools. I had Lake Forest, which is a D3. I had University of Michigan Dearborn, which was a NAIA school, and then I had Glen Oaks College, which was a community college, and then I had Kalamazoo Valley Community College. So I had factored it down to those four, and mainly just speaking with Glen Oaks Community College and with Kalamazoo Valley, like their speech was, you come there, you don't have to stay there for both years. You can leave after your freshman year if you're good enough, and just showing the other universities, and it's basically like you get another chance to be able to show yourself in front of coaches. So I ended up picking Kalamazoo Valley Community College. It was a better situation with it being in a college town. Like there was also Western Michigan University, which is a D1 in Kalamazoo. Then you had Kalamazoo College, which is a D3 out there. So it was a college town.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, my friend that I played, or my best friend, like my brother that I played with all since middle school, he was going to be going there. So that was good. And then I also had my other best friend who was like my brother, who was going to go to the school, but he wasn't going to play sports or anything like that. And then I had my other best friend, he was going to Western Michigan out there as well. So it was like we get to keep our friend group together. And then there were some other friends that was out there. Like I remember Chad Reed, Mike Sherman. They were going to that, or they were coming out to Western as well. So being in Kalamazoo. And that was really just the main thing that drove me to go there at first. And then I was able to show my talents and be able to get better. So
So it's like community college playing ball there, like high school, but like college. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's like high school. Like
Oh, a
junior,
different, a little different, but
yeah, it's like community college basketball. You really never know what you're gonna get. Like because you're gonna have a mixture of guys who might have been, a Division 1 level talent, but maybe they didn't have the grades, or they, like maybe they got into trouble, or you get some other guys who were like myself that they felt like they were good, but they wanted to prove themselves to be able to get better. So like there would be some schools that we play against that, we blow them out the water, and there would be other schools that blow us out the water. We have some real close games. You have some guys that transferred in from a Division 1 school or Division 2 school, and then they go to a community college just so they can get their experience, or so they can show themselves they can be like a rotation type of player. So it was competitive for sure. My freshman year, I was like a rotational guy. I think I was in like the 9-man rotation. I played behind Javante Hughes, who was from Kalamazoo. He can jump out the gym. He played at University of Charleston, which is a D2, I think in West Virginia or Virginia. And then he played in like Germany and Belize and like some places like that. Also, John Mosley, who was coming in from Avila University, who already had like his experience and knowing how to play in the college sports. He was a super strong guy from Gary, Indiana. And also, Jalen Larry, who had his college experience already. I think he came from Mott Community College, which was one of the top community colleges in the nation. So he had his college experience already. He ended up finishing at Rochester University. He played in Spain, Australia. So there were some really good guys that I was playing behind, and I would just learn from them and just see, not just on the court but off the court, like how I'm supposed to carry myself, what do I need to do going to class, because not too many teachers really care too much that you're playing sports there. You know what I mean? Like not saying like they care more about you being a student. Like they don't really care that you have a game and you're about to get on the road. Like they don't care if you're leaving early. Like they're not gonna excuse you, or like if you have a test due at midnight, like you need to make sure you're getting that done if you're on the road, or if you had like a late practice or anything like that. Like, it was really like no excuses at all. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was just a whole different beast, but it definitely did shape me to kind of just be on my own at first, and then just to be able to move around into the next to my next steps of college basketball.
so how were you like? Was it like a 1 year at that college or was it two? I know it depends.
2 years, 2 years.
Okay, and then when you were about to leave, what offers were you? I know Johnson and Wales was on the table. What other schools were offering you?
Yeah, actually, Johnston and Wells wasn't even offering me. I ended up finding them. But when I was coming out of my sophomore year, or coming out of my freshman year, there was a NAIA school called Goshen College, and then there was an NAIA school called Holy Cross, which is not the D1 school in Massachusetts. It's in Indiana. Those were like two schools that were starting to like have interest.
Hmm.
They just wanted to see how I was going to pan out going into my sophomore year. So those were like the main two that would be talking to me. But then I stopped hearing from Goshen and mainly started hearing more from Holy Cross. And then after we finished my sophomore year, I still had a lot of the Division 3 schools that were interested in me out of high school. Like you had Albion College, Adrian College, Alma College, Olivet, um, maybe Calvin. No, not Calvin, not Calvin. There was another D3 school out in Michigan, though, for sure. I had Bruton Parker College was the NAIA school in Georgia. I had Northern New Mexico State, which is a D2. They offered me a walk-on spot. Fisher College out of Massachusetts. Um, Man, I've heard like it was a lot of schools that I had talked to, like mainly NAIA and like a couple D2 schools, but it was mainly just like being able to walk on. But I came across Johnson and Wales because there's a school in Michigan called Northwood University, and they're a Division 2 school, and I was trying to like get to one of these D2 schools in Michigan because they're pretty successful, like Wayne State, Saginaw Valley State, Grand Valley, Ferris State, all these different. So Northwood, I was hitting them up, but then I saw there was a Northwood University in Florida, which turned out to be Kaiser University later on. But it was the same school. So it was North University in Michigan and Northwood University in Florida. I'm like, okay, so let me hit them up. And what I would do, like if it was a school that I was interested in and like if they didn't hit me up, I would go on there, I would hit up the school and then I would look and see who they all played within that conference. And then I would just try to reach out to see like what would be a fit. So I know I reached out to St. Thomas University. I reached out to Florida Memorial, and then Johnson and Wales. And uh, I can't tell you how many emails I sent out. Even though I had schools that are interested in me, I just wanted to try to get like the best fit, like just try to get as many options as I could to figure it out. And Coach Graham ended up emailing me back and was like, "Hey Tev, appreciate you reaching out. Your profile looks promising and interesting. Like, let's see what we can do." And then he explained what he had going on. He was on the phone with me for a couple hours uh, just explaining like his situation and what you have to know too is like a lot of schools aren't really big on community college guys, but some of them they focus around it. And Coach Graham is definitely one of those guys that like he takes 4-year players and then he'll mix it in with the junior college players to be able to get like a good program. So yeah, I just remember I was going on different visits and I ended up going down to Miami, Cinco de Mayo weekend. My teammate, who was my teammate at the time, Tony, he picked me up from the airport. They had me stay in Tropical Point. You know where that is.
Yeah.
I stayed in there for a weekend. I worked out with the guys. It was at the end of the season, so like I said, it was in May, so their season was already over. So they're just trying to figure out the guys that are graduating, and yeah, Coach Graham took me on the tour, got me some Chipotle, and just showed me just they drove me up and down Biscayne because Biscayne is really like Biscayne Boulevard is a long
Yeah.
street, and it was right off of Biscayne. I'm just like, wow, I could really be in Miami, and um, yeah, I ended up weighing my schools down to Holy Cross, which is the NAIA school in Indiana, Albion College, which is a D3 in Michigan, and Johnson and Wales, and they all had benefits. You know what I mean? Albion College was really nice because like I said, my brother that I went to school with or I played with since 8th grade, he was going to be going there. So I was like, okay, well, we can stay together. Like, I like to, the chemistry and everything when we're playing on the court. Like, I think it works out. He can shoot, I can rebound and do some finishes. Holy Cross, I really don't know why they wanted me so much, like, but they really were interested in me. And Coach McBride, he picked me up himself from the school, from campus, and he showed me the ins and outs. It's right across the street from Notre Dame, and then it was also right across from St. Mary's, which is an all girls school. They had other universities around as well, which is what I just came from in Kalamazoo. And they gave me like a really good package and yeah, I just ended up weighing it down. And at the time, I'm just like, man, like, but I feel like I could have went to these schools like out of high school. Like, I don't think Johnson and Wales would have wanted me out of high school. And outside of it being in Miami, a lot of schools in that conference, they had a lot of Division I transfers. And like my goal was always to go pro. So I just always wanted to go against these, high level guys so that I can just show myself when I'm like marketing myself to other teams overseas that I'm like, hey, like I played in this conference. This guy played at a Division I school and like picked me up to play pro. So that was my main thing as well. And Coach Graham had a little bit of ties and I always knew that a lot of NBA and professional guys come out to Miami over the summertime. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take advantage of that as well. So I ended up making the decision to end up going to Johnson and Wales, and it was a great decision.
Was it like a full scholarship or was it like you know how?
Yeah, so my junior year it was full tuition, but I had to pay for housing.
Okay.
And I didn't know it at the time because like when I was in Kalamazoo at my community college, like it was the same thing. I paid or I had full tuition. I just had to pay for housing. And at the time, like we would stay in these apartments, these pretty nice apartments for like I think it was like $379 a month, which is like
Oh.
insane to think about now in this economy because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like you're paying like $3,000-$4,000 for the year and you're good. So when he was like, yeah, like it's gonna be full tuition, you gotta pay for housing. So I'm like, all right, like let me find like a crib, maybe it'll be like $300-$400. And man, these apartments in Miami were just it was just so much. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna tell my mom? Like she's not gonna back it up. But then he explained like just to be like they had on campus housing and just explained the prices for that and with the meal plans and we worked that out. And then going into my senior year, he gave me a little bit more money. So it wasn't a full scholarship, it was still full tuition. And then my senior year was full tuition with a little bit more just to go towards my housing. So
Okay. When you first got onto campus and you were first getting to playing ball for actual season, how did you feel? Like, did you felt like it was just an everyday basketball routine, or was it like I'm actually on a college campus in Miami?
yeah, I mean, it was eye opening at first because, like you say, like it's just you're at school, but then when you're not in school, it's like you're in Miami. You know what I mean? Like you have your classes, and then you have your weights and your practices, and you got to finish up with studying. But then at nighttime, there's a lot of nightlife that's going on, or on the weekend, you can go like. South Beach is only 30 minutes away. Or you can go up north to Fort Lauderdale, Las Olas, and there's so many beaches with Bal Harbor and Sunny Isles and a lot of distractions that can distract you if you're not, like focused. Like I feel like if I would have went to Johnson and Wales my freshman year, I definitely would have made it out. Like I would have just been partying all the time. Like I definitely had a good balance my junior year of college. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a grind and like I knew I was down there to play basketball, so even though I wanted to have fun, I needed to make sure that I was doing what I needed to do on the court so that I can help my team win. And then more importantly, I can develop myself. So,
Um, was there any um any type of roles during at Johnson Road? Like, is there any certain like trials you had to go through? Like, with the injuries? Was it playing time? Just like how high school and how the community college was. Was it something similar or different?
yeah, I mean, my junior year, like when I was first getting there, like I remember talking to the assistant coach and he was like, man, like the way that you play, bro, like you could be player of the year. And he's like, I've seen the guys that have won. He's like, you could be player. I'm like, I could be player of the year. He's like, yeah. But I really wasn't playing a lot. The person that was playing in front of me was Ricky Suarez. He was kind of the man, and I really didn't know he was the man at the time, but like it helped, and it helped me end up becoming to be like a better basketball player as well. Just like trying to like battle him in practice, but just like he wasn't like the best shooter, but he was more of like transition wise. Like he can block your shot and then he'll rebound it. Coach Grammy's called a Ricky run. Like he can go transition wise and like if he gets it on the right angle, like he'll dunk it on you, or like he can like stop and pop and like he was just a super hard worker. And like I really didn't feel like there was too many people that was gonna outwork Ricky. You know what I mean? So I knew it, like, and that just made me want to work harder. Because I'm like, man, like if I could just get like the work ethic like Ricky, like he would be putting in like the extra work, and he really wasn't going to be denied too many times. Like there's been plenty of times in the game junior year where he saved his game-winning shot, game-winning block, or the game-winning plays. You know what I mean? Like he always was doing the right thing, and that just helped me become a better player as well. So that was the thing, just figuring out the playing time wise, and then actually a lot of people don't know going into my senior year, I was actually ineligible because I took a computer class my junior year. I thought it was worth 4 credits, but it was worth 1 credit, and they didn't tell me that. So when I was going into the first half of my senior year, they were like, "Yeah, like you're gonna be ineligible unless you." I had to take this other school or this other class, and this is like some inside information. I had to transfer to like an online university. It was called like Straighter Line University or something like that. So I was at Johnson and Wales, but I really wasn't even enrolled there for a minute. I was just there taking a few like of my core classes, and then I was really taking like this main class to try to get eligible. And I ended up failing that class. Like I was trying to like study, like I was trying to test out of it instead of like trying to stay for the entire course, and I failed it. And it took my mom basically calling the AD and then calling the president and just, you know, doing what moms do, giving them a word of
That's
their
what I'm saying,
mind.
man.
Like this don't make no sense. And they ended up they took one of my other credits from my community college that they had left behind. They took that and then they implemented it. But
Wow.
yeah, we had 1 or 2 scrimmages in the beginning that I didn't play. And like people thought I was hurt or something like that, but I was
Yeah, I
really
was
in coaching.
wondering where you were. I'm like, yo, where that? you were always there, even in practice with you guys. Like, and I'm like, yo, where he at? He leave? He graduate? Where he go?
I couldn't play for like the first couple weeks, and then I ended up getting eligible, and then we had a scrimmage against Broward College, and I did really good, and then we played Florida National, and yeah, from there it was different. So those are the things that I really had to go like facing adversity and the challenges.
Yeah, I can relate to you about college sport and Miami because when I walked on for track and field and I did it for like a year, but I can see where you're coming from, especially like for you it's a little bit I think much more because me I'm just running. But you have to balance all that out. You have to pass your classes. You're gonna have to go here, go there. You have to eat. You have to work out. But it was like, yo, this is too much. And I don't even on a scholarship. I mean, education wise, but like I'm like, yeah, I definitely agree with you. How there's so much you can do in Miami, and you're like, yo, I want to go party. Like I want to go be a
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I definitely party. We
yeah,
definitely like had
yeah,
our fun and
yeah.
everything, but it was like trying to make sure we had that balance for sure. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Now, what was it like? What was like your role on the team? I know at the beginning you said you went onto the team. Like, were you a starter first? Were you just a backup at first? Like, what was it?
Yeah. I was my junior year, I was a backup. Like I said, I played behind Ricky Suarez, but I would be like in that four, like that power forward backup center spot.
Yeah,
So really like when Ricky needed a break, I'd go in. And in the beginning of the year, I was just like that energy guy. Like I remember going in, I'd get like some tip dunks or I'd hit some threes. And like we had guys that really just like we were really good at our role. We were really good that junior year. But for myself, just like trying to be that person that could play defense, could block shots, get tip dunks. You know what I mean? Like I really wouldn't play more than like 15, 20 minutes a game sometimes. It just really depended on what the team would need, or how much like rest Ricky needed. Sometimes towards the end I would play like a more of a center spot. And like play alongside Ricky, which ended up like working out going into my senior year. But yeah, that was like my main role, just making sure I was rebounding, getting dunks, playing defense. Like I've never been like the star of my team or anything like that. I've always had a role to fill. Like I really didn't become like a star of any team until I got overseas. But I just always like was just filling out the role of just playing defense, rebounding, like just trying to bring that energy for sure.
Ricky, is he the one that light skin, right? Little beard over here that broke the points record. Right?
Yeah, he's Dominican. He's from Miami. He wore 22, made the Hall of Fame. I
Yeah, I
think
saw that.
I think 2019, I want to say something like that. He
Oh wait,
played,
oh wait, Hall of Fame, Johnson Wills and
yeah,
oh
Johnston and Wells Hall of Fame. Yeah, he was I think he was All American honorable mention our junior year. He got first team for sure, like top five players of the year or conference players of the year. Senior year, he got second team. He played in Dominican Republic for a couple years, which is a very high level league, and he played in Peru. And I know he's still down in Florida, and I know he's married. He has a daughter now, and yeah, I know like he still plays, like just not professional or anything, but yeah.
yeah, wow. Yeah, I remember him. He was I would say I don't want to hype him up too much, but he's like mellow. He would get the ball, like, all right, here. And then he was just like, we're all watching him, like, all right, this man about to do something.
Yeah, Ricky's always gonna make the plays, but yeah, he was the man.
Now, were there any standout memories or achievements that you played at Johnson World that you remember?
Yeah.
Or just like moments that you were like, oh snap, I just saved the game or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, team wise, I remember we went up to Kaiser University and we beat them. That was a pretty good win. They had a lot of Division One transfers. Their coach was Coach Rolly Massimino, who used to be the Villanova coach back in '89 when they won the national championship. So he's a legendary coach. I remember like we swept Florida Memorial University. I remember we beat Warner while they were ranked. Man, we just had a lot. I remember we played against Southeastern University. Coach Barsh, who I think is the assistant coach at Gonzaga now, but he has a pretty good coaching background, like at Boise State and those things. But I remember we beat them twice, and I think we had 20 assists, like as a team, which was really good. Like I think everybody scored. Like I remember I got a tip dunk against them that got the crowd hype.
Okay.
Um, and then the biggest one my junior year was we beat Thomas to go to the Final Four, and it was a pretty emotional moment. Rick, like I don't want to put his business out there, but his dad had passed away like a week before that, and we really didn't know if he was going to play or not. And like I just remember like me and my teammates, like we were just so devastated, like because it was hurt, like Ricky's dad was always in, like his parents were always in like at the game, and then
Mhm.
he ended up showing up. He sent out the text just saying like, "Hey, like I don't know if I'm a player or not, but like, just make sure we're taking care of business." And he showed up a day before practice, and we all, gave him his love and everything. And then we came out and we played Thomas, and he had like this game-saving block, and it got us to the Final Four. And it was so impactful. It was crazy. Like I think that was the first time Johnson and Wells made it to the conference Final Four in the NAIA history too. So.
Wow. And man, I mean, some of those moments you need, and I think his dad really got you guys into, to doing it. I think that really helped because 'cause you never know. Maybe that moment didn't help you guys go to the next round, but it seemed like just got you guys even much more closer together during that moment, which is awesome. And I know definitely his dad must have been happy to see you guys all excited after that, winning that and moving on. Was uh were there any teammates or coaches at Johnson Wales that had a lasting impact on not only you but like your development as a basketball player?
Yeah, I got I got a lot.
A lot. You can just say everyone.
So for sure off the rip, my junior year, Antoine Hill, he was from Chicago and he played at a junior college at Joliet, and then he transferred in. Just him being from the Midwest as well and having that junior college experience, he was one of the main reasons why I ended up wanting to come down to Johnston and Wells. He really looked out for me like a big brother on the court. And I don't know if you know about Chicago or people from Chicago, but a lot of them are kind of standoffish. So, and he was pretty standoffish at first. Like I remember, like when I went down on the visit and everything, like, he was super cool. I kicked it with him, and there was another guy that he used to kick it with, named Tarek, that was graduating. So I think that was kind of like his guy. But once I got there, I was like, hey, I texted him, hey, bro, like I'm coming to Johnston Wells. All right, yeah, for sure. Like I'll see you down there. Like, yeah, I'm ready to work. And we got to school 2 weeks before all the other students did. So it's just like the basketball team and then the soccer players that are there. And so there's nobody on campus. And I would talk to him in the locker room, like, hey, yeah, bro, like, you about to go get some food, or you about to go kick it? Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, like, I'm going to go shower. I'm going to hit you up. And he said that probably to me like 4 times, and he never hit me up. And I'm like, man, like, why does this guy like me? Like, did I do something wrong? Is he jealous or what it was? Like, I remember just talking on the phone with my mom. She's like, oh, like, you just got to give him time. Like, you're new. Like, he doesn't really know you. I'm like, mom, like, we on the same team. He already said it was cool. Like, I'm from Michigan. He's from Chicago. Like, it's got to be cool, right? And finally, one day, he had called me late at night. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm chilling. But he really just needed a ride to a party. He's like, yo, I'm going to a party if you want to slide. And I was like, all right. And then we went to a party, and then he figured out I was cool. And I've just been cool with him ever since. It's actually his birthday today, which is ironic. But yeah, so that was him. And then there was Joel Kukulu, who he was from New York. He was coming off of a foot injury, but so while he was hurt, he kind of was just doing a lot of things off of the court that he would look out for and just show me the different ropes on being in Miami. He actually had a room, but he didn't have a roommate. So he always had, like, we used to call it Club Joey, and we used to throw parties out of there, like little dorm room parties. Those nights were more legendary than like actually going out to the club and things. Also, I had Jonathan LaFontaine, aka GD. I had Gino Filzane. They used to look out for me as well. They were from the Miami area. Josh Medina, who's now the head coach at Florida Memorial.
Oh yeah.
He was like, after our senior year of college playing, we went down to a combine and we got some connects with Peru and Puerto Rico. And we both got contracts to go play, but I didn't take it at first because I had to finish. But he ended up going, and he made some connections. And he actually helped me get one of my pro careers when I was playing in Peru. Like he ended up setting that up. So that was a big impact. You had Mawan Bates my senior year, who was at Barry University, a Division II school at the time, and he was coming over. He had a really good work ethic, and he was just a funny guy overall. And I'm still connected with him. Like he runs a brand called Big Guard. I help him run that. But yeah, we just had a lot of moments on the court and off the court. Like he ended up my senior year, so I didn't take the contract overseas because I was still trying to graduate, taking classes. But he would stay, like he was from St. Louis, and he would stay in Miami, and we would work out all the time, and we would go out. And I remember before, like a week before I left, like he came down and like try to surprise me, which was like hilarious because I already knew he was coming. But yeah, those are my guys, man. Like you really see like the college experience can really impact and like shape your life. Like I still keep in touch with a lot of those guys. Like you have Zane D'Souza, who was a freshman when I was a senior. He ended up transferring out and he went to a community college up in Michigan when I was up there for a little bit. And then he went to a D2, and I've still trying to help him get his pro career back on track. I got him like a connect to go down to a camp. He just finished up in Costa Rica. Trying to think who else. Like man, like all the guys, TJ, Frank, Big Ralph, Tony, Dave, Issa, Dylan. Man, like there's so so many players. Big Jack, Nick. Damn, I didn't even say Nick. Man, Nick was one of the first guys that I met as well. You got Jack. Damn, you got Big Jack and you got Little Jack. Dang, so yeah, so many guys. I'm trying to think. Did I say Eric? I for sure said Eric. You had June, Justin Williams. Like he helped me a lot off the court as well, just showing me the different things to do on the school. He was definitely a hard worker, but he definitely had like that full college experience, and
Mhm.
just seeing how he would interact. He was from Jersey, so he had like that different type of swagger as well. But yeah, man, it was a lot of people that ended up impacting my life, like up until this day, and try to keep in touch with those guys. Even like on a coach perspective, Coach Brad was my assistant coach my senior year, and he's been doing some coaching in and out. And I'm helping him. I'm an assistant coach for him now at a community college out here in Kansas. We're at a D1 junior college at Fort Hays Tech Northwest. So it's been a lot of impact and like a lot of full circle moments. So
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's the thing. I think college is really. I feel like I think I would recommend people going to college, even if it's like a year, because like it changes you. Because I know people who stayed at home, and they're still the same people in high school, and it's like it not only helps you grow up as a man or as a human being in general, but also it kind of like you know helps you get ready for the real world.
yeah, for
And
sure.
it also affects you too. So
Yeah, like I know like I used to tell my aunt because she helped me out like financially with some of the bills and things to finish up at Johnson and Wales. But I remember just telling her like, yeah, like I don't think college is a big deal. Like I feel like I would be successful without it or anything. And then she was like I'm so disappointed like hearing you say that. And then like she was like, I hope one day like you realize and understand it. And like I really like you said, like you would see some people that didn't end up going to college that kind of were just doing the same thing and not changing up, don't have the connections. Like it's been plenty of times where like maybe not in the workforce, but like when I'm playing basketball overseas, like I meet a lot of people that have played like in the Sun Conference or I've been connected with some people that have played like at Johnson and Wales up in Providence or out in Denver or that are like playing professional or like they have jobs or like like you can see like the experiences or the connections on LinkedIn where they went to Johnson and Wales. So you really get that different type of experience. And it really took me a minute to realize. And like, I'm so grateful and appreciative to like go through it. And I'm glad like my aunt was able like to open my eyes to be able to see that now as an adult. Like, as a kid, you kind of like, nah, like I'm gonna be successful without it. But like, really, like, I don't know where I would be like if I didn't like go to school and meet the people that met. So
I agree. Honestly though, you've been a lot throughout those college journeys. I mean, I know a lot of people in general they want to go to college and play college ball, but it doesn't happen, or if they do, there's an injury and they have to retire early or something. But it's awesome that you've been through all of this. When you were at Johnson World, what was your major? Well, you're sports management, right?
Yeah, sports management.
Yeah.
Originally I was doing business administration, and then I was talking to one of the girls on the soccer team,
Uh,
and I don't know why, but maybe it was like a guardian angel type of thing. But she literally sat with me for 45 minutes and explained the business administration versus the sports management degree. And I was listening like, wow, this is what I want to do. At the time, so I ended up changing my major after she talked to me for 45 minutes about it, and it all made sense. And then she sent me like to the right people. Like I was talking to Mr. Skilling and Dr. Andre, and like they all just put it together. Like she put it together for me, and like it just made more sense to go through that. So yeah, I took sports management.
yeah, with sports management too. I remember you were one of my classes, something like that. Yeah, that major it's hard to get a job in that major. Oh my God. I was like, thank God I got out of it. But and then wait, what part of campus did you stay at? Were you at you say you were at Trop?
Yeah. So just for the visit, so when I first got to Johnson and Wales, I stayed in Flamingo. Like freshmen and transfer students have to stay like in one of the freshman dorms at first.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a freshman, and so, but I talked to like one of the rooming coordinators, and she was just telling me that after a certain period, there'll be like an open enrollment that you can like get out and try to get to a different room. So I ended up transferring over to Palm Gardens, which was more of like a
Oh, that's deep.
apartment style dorm. So I stayed in Palm Gardens, and then my senior year, I stayed in Palm Gardens too.
Okay. Yeah, I was at Flamingo my freshman year, and then there was some incident that happened with me, so I went to I think Palm Gardens, if I'm correct, the one that's by the lake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for like a semester, and then I went to Biscayne. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Biscayne, and then I transferred out. After you playing at Johnson Wales, you said you played at a couple of overseas. I saw the amount of teams you played. You played in Peru, India. You can tell me what, the place that you played at, but how did you get into playing overseas?
Yeah. So after my senior year of college, Coach Graham had talked to the seniors and just was just showing us because there was a lot of different agencies and people that were reaching out looking for unsigned players that were just graduating. So there was a lot of different combines and camps and agencies that wanted to reach out. Um, so there was one agency called Playing Overseas or Play Overseas, and what they were based in the UK, and they would try to take players and base them into different clubs and organizations over in the UK just to see like what would fit. And but what they do is a lot of times what you can do in England, and I think it's changed up now, but you can get a student visa, um, like just going through like a university, and you could get that visa that you could play like on like one of the pro clubs. So what I did was I just told them I was interested. They were like, would you be interested in playing like for a college team, like if you needed to? And I'm like, I mean, just I'm just trying to play overseas, so just let me know like what's going on. And there were some different teams that were interested, but there was a team in Nottingham called the Nottingham Hoods, and they had ties with Nottingham Trent University, and they played in the NBL. And basically, they just took my film and things, and I talked with the GM of the team, and I talked with the coach, who was also the coach of, at the time, he was the coach of the pro club and the college team, and it all had made sense. But I wasn't even gonna do it at first because, like I said, I had a contract to go play in Peru, but then I didn't end up pursuing it because I still needed to finish or actually I needed to walk, and then I had to finish graduation, and my mom would not let me, like, she wouldn't let me miss it. I'm like, yo, like, I'm trying to play pro. She's like, no, like, you done did all this hard work and your family's coming down, you can't miss it. Um so yeah, I was back at square one. I kind of was still talking to the team in England, but I didn't think they would really be interested because like I was kind of like, hey, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. And then there was an opportunity where I thought I was gonna take over in China. That didn't end up working out, but at the end of the day, sometime in October, like at the end of September, We got back on track with England, and they were like, "Yeah, like you'll be a fit for us. Like, let's do it." So I had to get my passport and stuff, and which took a little bit of time. And then once it came through, it was ironic. I was out with my friends at an ASAP Mob concert, like with ASAP Rocky and everything. And
Mm.
England is 5 hours ahead, so or 7 hours or something like that. So I'm at the concert and I'm letting them know, like, hey, my passport just came in. And like, okay, like when can you fly out? I'm like, when do you want me to fly out? They're like, well, we see a flight on Monday. He's like, you want to go? And it was a Saturday at the time. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do it. So we got on and that's how it went. But yeah, basically just talking to my coach in college and then just getting connected with different agents and just seeing what they had going on. There's a lot of combines and camps that go on over the summer, like in Atlanta, Chicago, Vegas is pretty big because the NBA Summer League is going on down there at the time. And yeah, so
So each spot, how long were you there for? As I heard that like when you play overseas, they have a certain contract. Like there's like 1 year contract, or like depending on like it could be 3 games and then you're done with the team. Like how
yeah,
with the contract. I know you were with 5 or 6 different, I would say countries. You want to say or
yeah, I played in I think 11 different countries, I want to say, but they were all like different. Like I know in England, I was that was probably one of my longest stints. I think I was there from October until May, so probably like I think that's like 8 months. And then Peru, I played. That was probably like a month and a half. It was just a tournament, and then I used that film to be able to get drafted over in Costa Rica. Their season goes for about 2.5 months, and then I played there twice. Um, then I got drafted to go over to Thailand. Thailand was about 3 months. I did a tournament in Malaysia. I did some different tournaments in China. China was pretty much back and forth for, I don't know, like a couple years. India was for, I think, 2 months. Hong Kong was for a few months. I played in like an international type of league where I was representing the team from Taiwan, but we would play like in Taiwan, China, Philippines, Thailand, and we would just move around. So I was there from April until September, and then I played in Australia, and I was in Australia from October until September. So that was probably, but we only played. The season had started in March, but preseason was started sometime in like February. So was there from February until September.
so which I would say which places did you like the best and what you didn't like the best? You don't
Yeah.
have to tell me. I mean, you can just. I don't want you to say their names to throw shade or
Oh
nothing.
yeah, yeah, for sure. No, no, no. The place I definitely liked the best was for sure Costa Rica. Just with it, it's not the biggest league, but they're very like family oriented. Like the first team that I played for was in Carthago, which is like up in the mountains. It was kind of cold, but they really looked out for me. The boss of the team or the owner of the team and the management, they really looked out for me, like got me my food. I met one of my really best friends that his name's Shez. He's from Costa Rica. That's one of my best friends. And then I ended up going back the second year to Limon, which was like a totally different experience. Like I was up in the mountains the first year. Limon is all on the beach, so like I had like a waterfront apartment. Like you could see the beach every day, you could see the water and everything.
Um,
They have a lot of Caribbean ties out there, Jamaican food. We also had like a nutritionist. The coach was very like as long as you put in the work, he was all good. He would give people opportunities and things, but he was really good on like developing the youth. And what he would do is like he would get a lot of like the younger guys to be able to go, and then like when they would show that they would be ready, and then other teams in the league would like pick up those team or pick up those players and get them to be able to go. So that was a good experience. And then also the when I played for the Taiwan Mustangs, that was really nice because for the most part we stayed in the Philippines in Manila, and the Philippines is, I think, one of the top three countries that loves basketball. So no matter where I went, like they kind of treated us like rock stars, which is
that's
a
nice.
little bit like it was just a different type of experience. Like I had a lot of teammates that were pretty well known, like in the area. Like either they played in the Philippines or they were pretty big internationally, and like we would go to these different places and like get stuff paid for, and like just a different type of the way that they would treat you. Like I remember I was leaving out of the Philippines to go back home, and there was a line to get to the airport that was like to check in your bags, and it was so long. And I remember the security guard see me, and he was like, "You played for Taiwan?" I was like, "Yeah." Then he was like, "Really?" Then he was like, "Do you know such and such?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I just like show him a photo of me like with these guys and like my teammates and stuff. He's like, "Oh, like I love this guy, you know what I mean?" And then I was like, "Yeah, bro." And then he was all right. He's like, "Go ahead." And he like escorted me all the way to the front. And I got to cut everybody, and it was just like it was a crazy type of privilege. But yeah, those were definitely I would say my top two places that I played in for sure.
That,
Um,
oh yeah.
but I mean, I really haven't had too many like bad experiences off of the or like countries that I didn't like. I liked every country that I've played in. There's been some countries that I've been offered to go play in that I would never go take that I've considered at the time, but just hearing a lot of stories and things and like how management treats the players and how the
Mhm.
league goes. Like I won't say their names or anything like that, but like there's like I have like a list of like places that I know I would never go play. So you kind of just have to do your research and just you got to talk to some people and see how like what gets treated or what they have going on. So yeah.
How was the language barrier with your teammates? Like, so I know some players know English, but there's others who are just maybe from the country or from another country. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on the country that you're in. Like England, everybody spoke English, so that wasn't a big language barrier, but they did have a lot of slang that I did not understand. Like for example, my coach used to always say unlucky, like if we missed a shot or something like that. Or like but I used to think he was saying I like it. So I used to just take like some wild shots. I'm like, oh, like I might have took a wild shot and missed. He's like, unlucky. But I'm like, oh, he likes it. So I would just like shoot another bad shot. And then finally they were like, yo, like, why you doing? I'm like, coach said he likes it. He's like, no, like he said unlucky. Like, like maybe you would have made it, but like stop shooting, like we can get like a better shot. You know what I mean? Other places like Costa Rica, a lot of people spoke English. Some of my teammates only spoke Spanish, so I had to start trying to either learn Spanish or, like I said, my friend Chez, he spoke English and Spanish, and my other teammates did, but they could translate because my coaches never spoke English. Um, in China, you always try to have a translator, but I've been to some places where nobody speaks English and I'm just using Google Translate and or like they'll get a headphone and like translate it live and just saying like what they want me to do. In India, I think everybody spoke. It was in Eastern India, so they had their own language of Mizo, but some of them spoke English and like it pretty much they made a lot of sense with what they had going on. Australia, everybody speaks English. They have a different slang as well, but I mean it was pretty straightforward, I want to say. Oh,
Um,
Thailand though. Thailand was tough too. Like we had a translator, but even the translator didn't speak good English either. So um I, like a lot of times like we'd be in that huddle and like the coach would be asking well, my coach was Filipino, so that made sense, but like the management might be asking for something else, like, okay, like, we want Tevis to get more rebounds or something like that. And then but the guy's like, yeah, he wants you to jump higher. I'm like, got it. All right, yeah, no problem. But yeah, so
what was there a favorite food in any of those countries that you liked a lot?
yeah, so again, like being in Limon, Costa Rica, like they had a restaurant that I can go eat 3 times a day. That was a lot of Caribbean based, like really good food, jerk chicken, rice and peas, get any type of tea or smoothie or any type of like ginger or beetroot, like a lot of natural type of things. And they also had the nutritionists that had like very healthy foods, like with like avocado based. Like different types of grilled chicken, like super healthy. Like I was never hungry out there. Being in India, like a lot of their food was really good. I like, the butter chicken and the rice and all the food that they had out there. I'm trying to think anywhere else that really stands out. I want to say those are the main. Oh, China with like the hot pot. I like just being able to go at nighttime, getting the hot pot, or like they'll have like these barbecues outside. You can get like
Okay.
barbecue lamb and Like anybody who's like who plays over in China, like they know like the barbecue spots that I'm talking about. You can just stay out there all night, and it's pretty cheap, and you can eat good, like chicken, lamb. You can get like any type of rice or fried rice or noodles or anything like that.
What lesson have you learned from this though? Like from you going overseas, did you learn a whole lot? I know you learned a whole lot about the culture and how to play a professional, but what did you learn in general from all that?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, just really knowing how to be by myself. Like when you're overseas, you are secluded or like isolated a lot of times because like your teammates may have a job or like they have families of their own or they have like they're busy, they stay far away. And like a lot of times I was just by myself. If I didn't like know anybody out there, I could just but you didn't want to just stay inside the room, you know what I mean? And just like play video games, whatever. Like I felt like it was best when I would go outside, I'd walk around, and I always wanted to start trying to see things that I couldn't see back at home. Like in Costa Rica, I would see volcanoes, or in the Philippines, going to different types of islands, and
Mhm.
Australia just showing like different types of parks, and being with the kangaroos, and India just showing their like if you've ever seen like Azul and Mizoram, like it kind of has that type of Santorini type feel, like with all the houses and things. But at night, like it's so beautiful. Like you're driving like back home, and you could just see like at nighttime, like all the lights and all the houses. Like it's amazing to see. But yeah, just trying to be by myself, and just making sure I'm staying out of my comfort zone and not just being by myself. Like when I'm out in public, just saying hi to different people. Like I do stand out because like there may not be a lot of black people in the area or just tall people in general. So just saying hi to people that are staring or just like trying to have small conversations, just trying to meet different people and seeing their day to day type of lives because basketball is not their lives. You know what I mean? They just enjoy to watch it because they're fans, but just seeing like what their day to day lifestyles is. But yeah, for sure.
Did your family ever came out like visit you when you were in these countries, or were they just at home?
Yeah, so the first family member that came overseas was my aunt. She came to visit me when I was playing in Hong Kong, which was like a relief. And it was supposed to be my mom and my aunt, but my mom ended up being sick and she couldn't end up coming. But my aunt ended up coming. And then when I was playing in Australia, my sister had came out, but then my grandma decided to tag along, and then my mom came out and she surprised me, and that was really nice. Like that was like a breath of fresh air as well because I like a lot of times when I'm overseas, like I'm naming all these countries, but some of those countries I just went like from that country to that country. Like I probably didn't come back to the States, or if I did, it might have been for like a week or two, and then like I would just go right on to the next place. So like a lot of times like I'm so many hours ahead and I can't talk to my family because like it's late at night or it's early in the morning for them or like I'm about to go to bed, they're just waking up. They have things going on. So um just with my family, like when my mom and my sister, my grandma came through, that was definitely one of the best experiences. My coaches and my teammates, they looked out, just gave them different things to go see. We had like a intro night to because the season didn't start yet, so they saw like we play a scrimmage, but we had like an intro night of like presentation of the jerseys and everything, so they were able to see the like how we're about to get started and just getting that experience like was definitely something like good. And I hope that whenever I get back overseas, like it would encourage like I want my stepdad, I want my stepbrother, and my other friends to be able to come out to come see me as well too. So
How do they uh how do they see it from watching you in college and high school to see you in the pro? Like how do they really like this is different or this is pretty awesome? How do they view it from watching from the stands from over the years?
yeah, I mean, like I said, when I was in college, I was more just a role player, and then when I got overseas, a lot of places I played in, I was like, if I wasn't the man, I was like a main like contributor. So just from it being like me, just like making like a little bit of plays in college to me almost making every play overseas, or just the person that has the ball in their hands, or like having to make like that clutch play, the big shot, and like all the fans, like coming up to you after the game wanting to take pictures and get your autographs and different things. It's like, even though like I'm not in the NBA, like to them they're like, wow, like you really like are a superstar. They love you, like they treat you like really good. You know what I mean? So It was definitely nice to see that as well. Like to have my family be able to see that. Like even if they're watching it online, you can hear like the commentators saying my name, and there's pregame like players to watch, like Tevis Robinson Jr. Like he's averaging all these points and he's doing all these things, coming off of a win. He's gonna look to make an impact and like so. That's what my family really likes seeing.
So now, like you said earlier, that you're coaching, so you're a free agent right now. You're trying to just coach right now, just for a little while, or are you trying to wait for a team to call you up? What's the future
Yeah,
right now?
yeah. So right now, I had messed my ankle up when I was in Australia back in September, and it was like the last week of the season, and it was so devastating because like we weren't really winning at the time, and I felt like it was more stuff that I could be doing, but I was already dealing with injuries, so it was only so much that I could do, and I was kind of letting them down. But then I messed my ankle up, and instead of just wanting to rehab and stay out there, I wanted to come back home and just be home for the holidays. And while I was at home, like I said, my old assistant coach, he called me, was like, "Hey, I need an assistant. Like, are you available?" And I'm like, "Where is it?" He's like, "Oh, it's in Kansas." I'm like, "We're in Kansas." He's like, "Oh, like Western Kansas, like in the middle of nowhere." I'm like, "Well, I don't want to go." And he's like, "Well, like you can come out here. We'll set you up. It'll be a good experience. You can rehab out here, like your experience that you've had overseas, and just coming from a junior college, community college, because this is a community college now. Just like the guys could really like have somebody like to look up to and talk to, like to relate, because like this is what they want to do. So um, I'm like, okay. So I came out here and I've been coaching, and eventually, like I know for a fact I'm not gonna play basketball forever, and coaching and being in like the management of like a college sport or like a professional sport is like something that I do want to do eventually. So I'm not saying that I'm done right now. Like I'm not done overall, but I think maybe sometime over the summertime I'll probably try to get up and go. I'll have a few ideas on what I want to do. I just need to figure out like what's gonna be like the best step. But yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna play forever. Like if I had to have an estimate on how many more years I play, I'd say probably 3 to 5 more years, and then I would transition into either coaching or training or trying to get more experience, and then try to get up in like a front office somewhere, whether if it's at a university or at a pro club or something like that. So that's my plan right now.
Did you have during your pro career, did you have any like were you trying to go to the NBA like G League at a certain point? Was there like a almost make it type of moment, or were you like, nah, I just want to do pro overseas, I'm much more comfortable?
Yeah. So I knew probably my freshman year of college that I wasn't going to go to the NBA because there's not too many guys that go community college to NBA. But I was like, there's a lot of guys that play in the G League. So I'm like, okay, G League could be an opportunity. But once I was finishing up, I really didn't get to see too many G League or NBA coaches. I did a combine or a camp for a week in Vegas, and there were like some NBA scouts, but none of them came and talked to me. Even though I went up to talk to them, but they really didn't have like an interest. They had their eyes on certain people, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I went to England and I got my confidence up. I did really well. We got the team promoted, and we won our league. I was one of the finalists for Player of the Year, so I had the confidence. And every summer, the G League does like different camps and combines, like tryouts that you can try to make the teams, and it costs a lot of money. But I'm like, I don't want to pay it. Like, I feel like I'm fine being overseas. But my mom was like, no, like I've seen like your growth, and I really believe that you can like try to make this. You can make it out there. So, and she was like, and if you don't try, like you never know. So I was like, all right, you're right. Like I'll take it, and like if I like it, then or hopefully I'll do well, but hopefully it's a good experience. And I went out to Chicago, and there was two different groups, but there was like I think 200 or 300 people per group, so it's a lot of guys. Like it's a lot of high level guys. It's a lot of guys who've never played basketball before that are just fans that just want to come out just to make it. You have basketball dreams like as a kid, so it's like why not? You never really know. But I played 2 games. The first game I really didn't do too well in, but it was just a little weird. It's a lot of guys that were just trying to, showcase their talents as well. They weren't really playing together. And then finally the coaches were like, hey, like you guys need to play together if you guys want to, have a shot. And The second game we started playing together, and the offense was kind of just flowing through me a little bit. Like I was making some shots, and I get some dunks or some blocks, and I had it flowing. So we like they like I remember out of a timeout, they was drawing up a play. They was like, "Who's gonna shoot this three?" And they was like. They was pointing at me. I think I was wearing like 148. It was like 148, 140. Like he hot. Like let's let him go. And I was like, okay, bet, let's do it. So I made the three, and then I was just telling my friend about this the other day. Like I had an opportunity to dunk on somebody, but he fouled me, and I shot free throws. But I felt like if I would have dunked on him, then I probably would have got that shot. Because there's like they have all different G League coaches that are watching the game and everything. So I got fouled, and then once I made my free throws, the coaches subbed me out, and it was like, "Hey man, we're gonna sit you out for the rest because like we felt like you've shown us that like you're gonna come in and you're gonna like we're gonna bring you back the next day because it was a 2 day camp. They're like we're gonna bring you back the next day so that you can actually play. So like the actual G League coaches, like the head coaches, will start being able to see you. So it was like, yeah, like you're gonna be good. So like just sit out, like congrats, like good work. I'm like, all right, for sure, like appreciate that. And I'm like, in my mind, like, all right, cool. Like I just gotta play how I played today, and then the next day, like I'll be good. And they brought us all out. There was 300 of us, and they were like, okay. They brought the sheet of paper, like one of these, like, all right, like if we call your name, like move over here. There was 300 people. They said 413, 72, and 5. So they called 3 people and then they put it down. And they were like, all right, guys, like, thanks for coming out. Like, have a good day. And all the coaches were already like in the other room, like boardroom, like talking, like to see. So I couldn't even go talk to the coaches. I'm like, wait, the coaches already said like I would be good to go, like for the next day. What's going on? I couldn't talk to anybody because they're like, okay, like we got a second group coming in, like everybody else gotta leave. Like, damn. So out of 300 people, they called 3 people's names. And I'm like, man, so and
Like
that's just kind of
15, like 10, like 3?
yeah, but that's just the thing. Like with the NBA, it's so high level. They only need so many people, and like maybe they did want, like maybe the coaches thought I was good enough, but maybe somebody else saw me the first game was like, nah, like he didn't play good the first game. Like I never, like I don't know, like I've never seen any of these coaches again. Like I mean, I've seen them like on websites and things, but I've never talked to them ever again. I've never heard from anybody else. So that was like my closest to NBA moment or NBA G League moment that I've had.
So now you're just pretty much, helping your old assistant coach out. Going to be helping the community college kids out. And pretty soon play ball once again. We know you have 2 or 3 more years left. We're going to see where you're going to go next. Maybe Canada, maybe Mexico, maybe somewhere in Europe again. Who really knows? And before we end this off, what is your advice for high schoolers, college, community college, and pro players right now? What would you give them your advice from your experience overall right now?
Yeah, so I've said it before when I've talked to somebody else about it, but really just the main thing is being where your feet are and focusing on what you can control. Like you never know what's going to be going on. Like you don't have control over everything, so you can't really focus on what's going to happen in the future. And like you want to set all these things up, but you don't really have the control over that. You can only control like what's in front of you right now. There's been plenty of times where I thought I would be playing in another country or on a different team, or like the deal goes through, or like the management may not like me, or like they might want to cut me or trade me or do something like that. And it has nothing to do like with me, it's just how they feel. But I can't just sit there and be sad and just want to be like, oh yeah, like these guys don't like me, so I just want to go home. But it's like, no, like it's just that path just isn't meant for you. So you just need to make sure that you are staying where you are and making like just having the faith that with your hard work and your ethic that it'll all work out. So that would be my thing that I
I like
say.
that, man. I like that. People need to hear that more often because nowadays there's social media. You have people trying to influence younger people who never been through any of that before. So just by your words and just giving them the advice definitely goes a long way. And yeah, guys, if you want to go follow him, I'll put the social media stuff down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.